Hey guys, my name is Shadow AP, and with the Master Chief Collection coming out this November and Halo 2 Classic multiplayer coming back, I wanted to make a video explaining how to do every button combo and button glitch that's useful in multiplayer. Keep in mind these glitches will only work in the Classic version of Halo 2, not the new Anniversary version. I don't go into a crazy amount of detail, so if you're interested in more information about each glitch like frame-by-frame data, I have videos linked in the description that go into more detail than I do. Also, throughout the video, there will be a menu button at the side. If you want to jump to a section, click that at any time and it will take you to a menu of all the sections in this video. In this video, I'm playing Halo 2 Vista at full settings and you can see my controller all the time to see what buttons I'm actually pressing. I'm playing with default controls, so if you play on a different layout, just figure out what button you'd be pressing and then press that one instead. I also have a map linked in the description that has a modded plasma pistol that lets you spawn Spartans. So if you have the game, feel free to download that map and spawn some Spartans to practice on. I make about 20 in a row, and then I go down in a line trying one specific glitch that I'm trying to work on. And since there's about 20 of them, you can just skip them when you mess it up instead of having to wait for shields to come back. All of this being said, let's get started. The first thing we're going to look at are the main cancels. A cancel means you start doing an action, canceling another action you're in the middle of. They're all pretty basic, but they're fundamentals to combos later, so it's useful to go over. You can cancel a reload by meleeing. You stop the reload action and melee instead. If you have a secondary weapon, you can cancel a reload by switching weapons as well. You stop the reload and switch weapons instead. If you have a secondary weapon, you can cancel a melee by switching weapons. If you lunge at someone and switch weapons before you hit them, you'll just lunge into them and not do any damage. If you do it after, you'll do the damage and still switch weapons. You can cancel a melee with a reload. Reloading mid-melee will stop the melee action and reload the gun. Just like before, if you melee at someone and reload before you hit them, you'll cancel the melee and lunge into them. If you reload after you hit them, you'll hit them and then reload. This brings us to one of the most important glitches of the game. Even if you don't have to reload, you can still cancel a melee by pressing X. The game still recognizes that the melee should be stopped in order to reload, but since you can't reload with full ammo, it doesn't stop the current animation or play another one, but you don't need to wait for the animation to finish before doing another action. We call this X canceling. Because you usually X cancel when you melee, we call the melee to X cancel combo a BX combo. First of all, in order to YY, you need to have a secondary weapon, so make sure you pick one up before you try and do anything we're about to do. If you press Y twice, you switch weapons twice and end up with the same weapon out. If you press it really fast twice, you switch weapons so fast, you don't see the first gun go away. To time a YY properly, you have to press it only twice extremely fast. If you hit it too slow, you'll still have to wait for the animations to happen. If you press it too many times, you end up switching weapons too, and wasting time. Like all the glitches in this game, timing a YY properly takes practice. There are 4 useful things we can do with the YY. The first one is reload canceling. As we saw, you can switch weapons to cancel a reload. If we use the YY instead, we can cancel the reload and have the BR back out and ready to shoot again. Pressing YY lets you stop reloading and start shooting again. The gun doesn't end up getting reloaded, but if it still has some ammo in it and you get caught off guard, you can cancel your reload and start shooting again. Here's the situation where it's useful. I start reloading and Rain starts shooting. He has no shields right now, but since I have to wait for the reload to finish, he ends up killing me. This time, even though I start reloading, I cancel the reload with a YY and I kill him. The second use of the YY is that it descopes your gun. When you're using a sniper, you can only scope in, but not scope out. But since there's 2 levels of zoom, to zoom out you actually have to zoom all the way in and then click it one more time to zoom out. Getting shot also descopes you. So you might accidentally get shot and descope, but still press the button trying to zoom out in the first place, and you'll end up zooming back in. Sometimes you'll get caught in a cycle of trying to zoom out and getting shot, and it's just really annoying. You can avoid the whole thing if you just zoom out by pressing YY. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's pretty annoying. The third and fourth use of the YY we're going to talk about in a bit, but quickly we're going to talk about backpack pickups. When you don't have a secondary weapon, picking one up will switch to the new weapon. This counts as a weapon switch, and you can use it as one of the Ys in the YY combo. If you press the second Y at the right time, you'll end up picking up the weapon and putting it away really quickly. It's not the most important or practical glitch, but it doesn't hurt to do it, and you never know when you'll get caught off guard and wish you had your BR out. You can use both BX and YY to reload quicker. YY is the safer way to do it, but if you don't have a secondary weapon, you can't YY, so you can BX instead. Let's take a look. When you reload, the gun is actually reloaded before the animation is done. Specifically, the reload is finished just before the magazine gets shoved back into the gun. If you use the reload cancel we just talked about at this point, the gun will be reloaded and you can start shooting again. If we compare a YY quick reload beside a normal reload, you can see that the YY reload is faster and lets you shoot earlier. If you don't have a secondary weapon, you can use a melee to cancel the reload, and since you now have full ammo, you can press X to cancel the rest of the melee and then start shooting again. This combines two of the cancels we looked at earlier. Meleeing cancels the reload, and then the X cancel cancels the melee. Then you can press R and start shooting again. When we compare a normal reload next to a BX quick reload, you can see that the button combo lets you start shooting faster. If you're playing off host, you can use the BX quick reload in another way as well. If you are on host and you press the XR at the same time, you can start shooting the BR again, and the gun will be reloaded a second time. I call this the BX Late Reload. You can use it to extend a BR clip by 5 shots. This can be pretty useful if you can pull it off consistently. It lets you get a few shots in after you reload while keeping your gun fully reloaded after. Remember that this only works if you're not host, but since the Master Chief Collection has dedicated servers, you'll never be host while playing in matchmaking, and you should be able to do this all the time. Both quick reloads take about the same amount of time to do, so you can do whichever one you feel like in your situation. If you're playing a game where you don't spawn with a secondary weapon, the BX quick reload is your only choice until you find a gun. With BX, if you press it too early, you don't finish reloading, and then you start reloading again. This can take more time to reload than if you just let the reload finish normally. Using YY is safer, since if you YY cancel too early, you'll just end up reload canceling. So if you still have some ammo left, at least you can start shooting right away again if you need to. The BXR is just adding the R button to the BX combo. In Halo 2, a punch followed by a headshot is enough to kill someone. When you BXR, you X cancel to cancel the delay of the punching animation, and then press R right away to get that headshot faster. If you time it right, you can kill someone almost instantly. Remember that if you have to reload, the X cancel won't work, and you'll just end up reloading instead. With the BX, if you press X before the melee actually hits them, you don't do any damage. To time the BX to make sure you hit them, the easiest thing to do is to wait for the punch hit sound. If you hear the punch hit, then it's safe to press XR. You need to time each BXR differently to each situation, since the lunge time changes depending on your distance from the person you're trying to BXR. In some situations, you don't need to rush a BXR. When you don't have extra ammo for your gun, pressing X won't reload. This means you can use the X cancel in the middle of the clip, since the gun has no ammo to reload to, and you can BXR back to back for the rest of the clip. Since you need to have full ammo to BXR, you can use that to recognize when someone is going to BXR you. If you haven't seen them shoot, they might have full ammo and might try to BXR you. In this demonstration, Reigns runs right at me without shooting at me at all. I assume he's trying to BXR me, so instead of meleeing him, I jump away and try and kill him before he gets close enough to go for the BXR. This is where we can talk about the fourth use of the YY. You can use it in a BXR instead of the X. Earlier we talked about how we can cancel a melee by switching weapons. If you don't have full ammo, you can melee, then use the YY instead of the X cancel, and shoot right away for the headshot. It's not as fast as a BXR, but it's still faster than waiting for the reload or for the melee animation to finish. If you use the BX Late Reload we talked about earlier, you can use a quick reload, get a few shots off, and then use a BXR still, even though typically your gun shouldn't be fully reloaded. This is tricky to use in-game since it's a pretty situational thing to pull off, but if you practice both glitches, you might find yourself in a situation where it helps you out. If you can't BXR because you don't have a full clip, or if you don't have a BR out, you can still use an XB to X-cancel the rest of the punch and melee a second time a bit faster. In Halo 2, it takes 2 punches to kill someone as long as you're moving, so it can be enough to kill someone quickly as well. The double shot is a BR button glitch done by pressing RRX, and if you time it properly, it shoots the BR twice back to back and then reloads. You don't see the reload animation, but you can't shoot again until it's done. When you do a double shot, your thumb is busy pressing buttons, so you can only aim the gun by strafing while you're doing it. If you time an RRX badly, you end up shooting and then reloading. The double shot has a tiny window of error, so it takes a lot of practice to get it right consistently. If you don't have a secondary weapon, every time you press RRX, you need to wait for the reload to finish. You can still BX quick reload, but in fights where you need that extra double shot to win, chances are you don't have time to reload at all. If you do have a secondary weapon, you can use RRX and then cancel the reload with a YY and then keep shooting. You can even use it to RRX again and do a quad shot.
Untouchable.
It's less risky to do an RRX with a secondary weapon because even if you mess it up and start reloading, you can YY to reload cancel and then keep shooting or try again. If you don't have a secondary weapon to cancel, you have to use the double shot as the last 2 shots of a kill since you can't shoot after for a few seconds. If you do have a secondary weapon, you can throw the double shot in wherever you want. Double shotting without a secondary weapon is really high risk. If the double shot isn't enough to get the kill, you'll end up being stuck reloading. Sometimes you can pull it off and end up getting a really risky kill. Here, Reigns is the first shot. Since he shot first, as long as he doesn't miss, he's going to kill me. This time, I use a risky double shot to get the last 2 shots in before him. Double shotting with a secondary is a lot more safe, but still risky. Here are a few examples of ways that I've used the double shot in mid-combat to get some kills. You can still mess up the YY cancel, so it's still pretty risky to do. There are some situations where trying out the double shot isn't risky at all. If you're about to go into cover, you can use the double shot as a way of trying to get an extra shot in before hiding. That way, even if you mess it up, you're not out in the open, and if you do pull it off, you might get a kill you otherwise wouldn't have. Another safe time to use it is just before someone else goes into cover. If you do it right, you might kill them, and if you do it wrong, you still shoot them once anyways, which is how much time you had to shoot them in the first place. RRBX is an extremely hard to time and pull off button glitch. Let's take a look at it again. Basically what we're doing here is combining the double shot and a melee to get the effect of a BXR. The reason we do that is that since we don't have full ammo, and you can't BXR in the middle of a clip, the only way to kill someone as fast as we just did is an RRBX. It's extremely hard to time, but it's faster than pressing BYYR and BXB, and you can do it without having a full magazine or without even having a secondary. Let's take a look at it in slow motion. The first time we press R, the gun is shot. Hitting the shot doesn't actually matter since we're only using it to get the second shot of the double shot. Next we press R again, queuing the game for a double shot. Before we press X to finish the RRX combo, we sneak in a melee. The melee punches them, then the X button activates the RRX and shoots the second shot. Since the melee got the target to 1 shot, the second BR shot to the head is enough to actually get the kill. This is the hardest of all the button glitches to pull off because it combines several aspects. The double shot is already hard to time, and X-canceling a melee so fast is risky since, as we saw before, if you cancel a melee too soon, you don't actually hit the melee damage. I don't even have any clips to show you where this is practical because it's so hard to do in a real situation. I've never actually done it outside of practicing on these bots. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I've linked a video in the description for this particular glitch that goes into more detail than me, so feel free to watch that to learn more about this. So that's all the button glitches and combos I have for you. I hope this video helps explain how the button glitches work and gives you the opportunity to try them on your own. As you practice with each one, they'll open up possibilities for you in combat you may have never considered before. If you want to check out some great gameplay highlights of how useful these glitches can be, check out Krizen's Halo 2 highlight videos. He has tons of clips of himself using these combos to get some pretty ridiculous multi-kills. Those are linked in the description below. If you'd like to see more videos like this about any other particular subject in this game, leave a comment below and tell me what you're looking for. Our channel also posts tons of Halo gameplay and content, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see some more Halo content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in November.